This time on the driver's corner, we're going to try to put 35s on the F250. Stay tuned. All right, so we just had these tires mounted. I went with a 35x12.50x20 on some gear 20x12s with a -44 offset. They do not fit. They fit, but they rub. So I kind of expected it a little bit, especially on these older F250s. You can have some distance play between where the front axle is in comparison to the rest of the chassis. So I am going to go home and we are going to cut my front bumper and air dam a little bit and try to get this to where I can actually drive it. So I'm creeping home at the moment, as every time I take a turn that's sharper than about a 25 degree on the steering wheel, it is rubbing on the sidewall. So no bueno. 35, 1250, 20s do not fit with a -44. I have a 4-inch lift, still not enough. So trimming it is. See you in a minute. All right, so made it home. The 35-1250s are rubbing in 2 spots. So I'm going to show you those really quickly. We are getting, when the tire is turned in, this outside edge is grabbing. I mean, the 33s are rubbing hold on. 33s were rubbing a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and just shave a finger width off of that corner and see if I can't get that to clear. The other issue I'm having, and honestly it's not the truck's fault, is my fender flares. So where the fender flares are bolted to the body, like right here, I'm getting contact in that area. It doesn't look like it as much on this side, but I'll show you the hey Corvette, like right here on this inside edge. Obviously it's been making contact. Now the 33s are making contact too, but they weren't touching the flares, and this actually doesn't turn in far enough to touch where the 33s were. So this should be a pretty simple fix, I think. It definitely is grabbing on both sides. It's grabbing the bumper on this side and on the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out some tools of destruction and see if I can't make this clear. I'm not a patient man. I could not find my angle grinder. I don't know what I did with it. So I'm gonna use that. This is gonna get ugly. So when you're doing something redneck, do it the wrong way. I can clean this up later. Also, I'm not keeping this bumper forever anyway. I'm gonna get an off-road style bumper at some point that should clear better anyway. Also, before anybody cries, this thing doesn't fit great anyway. It's all sun damaged. So if I cut it up, like really, what's the problem here? So. All right, so trimmed that edge off. I'm gonna turn that wheel and see how close I got. I think I'm gonna have to cut a little bit more, just because I'm worried about if it compresses. All right, so yeah, I ended up cutting off quite a bit more of this. Don't mind all the raggediness. I haven't gone back and cleaned it up yet, but I ended up having to clearance quite a bit of that bumper piece in order to give me what I needed. So don't judge me. Woo, I haven't cleaned that up yet either, but I did end up having to cut a ton of the inside of the wheel well out. I still have to cut a little bit more of this out to get it to completely stop rubbing. I'm gonna kind of come up here and shave this around, and that should stop all the rubbing. What you're gonna get next from the channel is going to be the review on the Kenda Klever RTs, these 35s that I put on the truck. I think overall, so far I've been really happy with them. I've driven in the rain, I've driven them in the dirt, and so far, super happy camper. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned for the truck, and you will see a tire review on the Kenda Klever RTs.